made, and often with the biggest consequences, is doing too much too soon. We want to give our new rescue dog everything and let them experience all the good things in life. We want them to feel loved and cherished, and we want them to have all of this on the very first day. It's natural and very human of us to comfort and soothe with physical interaction. We have that temptation to hold and pet our new dogs, but a word of warning here. Whilst this physical comfort and tactile interactions works well among our own species, it can be a huge stressor and a threat to a frightened or anxious dog, and you could unintentionally convey the wrong message to your new dog. So try your best to refrain from physical interaction with your dog unless it's initiated by her. And even then, keep your hands to yourself for those first few days. You're going to have plenty of time throughout the dog's life for physical contact, but now's not the time. Right now, you're still a stranger. Remember that relationships aren't built in a day. Try to avoid any form of physical handling in the beginning and resist the urge to pick them up, stroke them, or continually approach them. If they approach you, then offer gentle affection, but always allow and respect the dog's choice to remove herself or retreat to her safe zone. Any forced contact in these early days could hinder the dog's progress or recovery and keep those stress levels too high. If your dog's frightened or anxious or showing signs of uncertainty towards you, then try and avoid direct eye contact. Keep your body posture soft and turned away from the dog to communicate that you mean no harm. Always ensure that the dog has a clear escape route from any situation or experience, and never invade the dog's space. And this means leaning in over the dog or his bed areas too. Keep everything nice and easy in the beginning. You should also avoid walking your new rescue dog for the first few days. Now, you did hear me right, no walks for those first days to even a week. It's tempting to take our new dogs out for a walk to drain some physical energy and help them settle in, but this can actually be counterproductive, providing far too much stimulus, overwhelming the dog and pushing them closer to or over their coping threshold. And it's often in these first few days which rescue dogs become lost or run off from their new guardians during walks. Simply being in this brand new environment will be enough stimulus in the first few days. During these initial days, your dog is hypervigilant, super aware, and very impressionable. Any negative experiences at this point could be remembered and cause problems later on. In the first week, I'd encourage new rescue dog guardians to limit activity, limit meeting new people, and no walks off the property, allowing the dog to gradually settle in and become accustomed to the new environment, and that was going to help avoid trigger stacking. Trigger stacking is when too many stimuli that create a stress response in the dog occurs in a short period of time. The stress reaction within the dog isn't something that he can control, and it most certainly isn't an enjoyable experience. It's a natural survival response to a perceived threat or a harmful event. The stress response of the body includes a rush of cortisol and a high production of adrenaline ready for the freeze, flight, or fight response. Each time the dog encounters a stimulus which causes stress, the body responds, pushing the dog further and further into that stress reaction. During a period of stress, your dog's body is in overdrive and it's really working hard. Living in a prolonged state of stress can significantly affect your dog's health, so it is important to identify triggers to the stress response and move or adjust them as soon as possible. And it's also important to remember here that the dog's stress reaction is based on his own learning experience, fears, personality, genetics, and ability to cope. It's not based on the things that we may be considering to be worrying him. Stress needs time to reverse. While the stress reaction will onset quickly and the dog's brain quickly moves to reactivity or shutdown, that fight or flight, the reversal of this response is much, much slower. And this is where trigger stacking comes in. A big stress trigger, like a new home, can take a dog 36 hours for recovery. If we add more stress triggers while the dog's brain is in reverse, the brain goes into an unhealthy forward and reverse battle. More stress triggers means more arousal, and eventually the dog will reach his threshold and react. Poor management is another common but simple mistake made by dog guardians, and is another cause for many returns of dogs to rescue. Very simple things such as putting remote controls out of reach, not leaving food out on worktops, and putting those expensive new shoes back in the cupboard. These very simple things, which are often overlooked, can really save you and your new rescue dog a lot of heartache and fallout later.